So today I'm gonna talk about the first 100 sales I've made on Etsy and what I've learned so far. So let's get to it. So when I first started Etsy, I didn't know a ton about getting started or anything, so I did my research and I just took the plunge and I learned so much along the way. So here are 5 things that I've learned that helped me make my first 100 sales on Etsy. So first on the list is having high quality photos and a really good description on what product you're selling. I think photos go a long way, and you could take some beautiful photos even just with your iPhone camera, and you just need to stage it right and make it look appealing. I think a lot of people need good quality photos to understand what they're purchasing, so a high quality photo goes a long way. Adding multiple angles to your photos helps the customer see all the different angles of the items they're potentially about to purchase. You want to make sure you have at least 3 to 5 photos, all different angles, so that the customer understands what you're trying to sell them. And if you make high quality photos, I think they'll definitely know what you're selling them. So one thing to pay attention to is natural lighting. I think that you can take some great photos with just using the natural light. And here's some examples that I can show you. So most of my photos are taken with natural light, and I think that is a great cost-effective alternative to get some great photos on a budget. Another great point for photos for your Etsy listing is also add a video. So people have an understanding on what this item looks like, the scale of the item, and this gives them a great idea on if they want to purchase this item from you. The second item on the list is proper packaging for the items you're selling. As a consumer myself, I appreciate eye-catching and clean packaging. I feel like that's an item that's not seen as important, but really goes a long way to the sale of your items. I push myself to source out items that are environmentally conscious, and I avoid as much single-use plastic items in my packaging as possible. And ultimately, it'll make you feel better knowing that you're doing the best you can to be environmentally conscious. One thing to look into the future, as a woodworker, we go through phases of lulls and busyness. So with Christmas time, it's extremely busy for us. So we want to make sure we are cutting down our time in packaging so that we can be as efficient as possible and get out those products as fast as we can. So the third thing on your list is getting your shipping figured out. So for shipping for us, we found that free shipping seems like the norm in our area. We live here in Canada. So you're gonna have to include your shipping prices into the items that you're going to sell on Etsy. Especially from the research we've done, we've found that free delivery is the norm. And when it comes to free shipping, as a consumer, we find that we are more inclined to buy the item that has free shipping instead of having shipping calculated at checkout. Yes, there's more work for you as the seller, but it's really up to you on which path you want to go. So free shipping or shipping at checkout. As you know, the past couple months, Canada Post has increased their prices, which is ultimately affecting us small business owners, which is unfortunate. So if anyone knows a better shipping company here in Canada that ships worldwide, please leave a comment down below of that company name. We would love to know more and explore our options, and maybe it'll help someone else. Another thing too is to understand the crazy inflation of shipping costs. The thing with shipping costs is that it can fluctuate so much, so you kind of have to be on top of it when you're doing free delivery, because at the end of the day, it is eating away at your profits in your business, so you want to make sure you're on top of the shipping prices. One mistake we learned is that we were super excited that we got an item that was shipping to Australia. They ordered one of our popular crib boards, and one thing we didn't adjust was the shipping across North America and other countries. We never set those parameters, and in turn affected our bottom dollar. It's a hard lesson learned, but now I know you need to adjust those parameters, and this is all a part of learning the business and growing on Etsy. So the fourth item that I'm going to talk about is the Star Seller program on Etsy. So there's 3 items to become a star seller, and the first item is your response rate. You want to make sure you respond to people's messages within 24 hours to keep that response rate up as high as possible. The second item is a 5-star rating, and what it says here on Etsy is that consistently getting 5-star ratings in your shop is key to building trust with new buyers. So obviously keeping that rating up for most platforms, generally having a higher rating is always usually good. And the third item is delivery. You need to make sure you have your deliveries shipped out on time and also have tracking numbers. So for that third point for delivery and tracking numbers, one thing I've found quite frustrating actually is that you need to have a tracking number in order for your items to be approved for the Star Seller program. So with my business, I typically do local pickup, which in turn has no tracking number. So when they don't have a tracking number, initially thought that it wouldn't technically matter because the Star Seller is technically for tracking orders on deliveries, but I was completely wrong about that, and apparently it affects your Star Seller program. I've done lots of research to see if I can fix that or understand how to do a workaround, but Etsy still hasn't figured out a process through that Star Seller program for local pickup and deliveries. I think that's a very integral part for businesses in Etsy and on just small business owners in general, and I feel like that's something that they definitely need to address. So I'm not fully convinced on the Etsy Star Seller program. To me, I feel like there's a few kinks that they need to work out in the Star Seller program. And my fifth item on this list is, as a woodworker, having items on hand. Now, with only one holiday season underneath our belt, we've realized that there is a major benefit for keeping stock on hand, to keep those order processing times good, keep your Star Seller up, and ultimately just make more sales. With that, it helps processing times go down. You could adjust that on Etsy and thus return having more potential buyers who are wanting that product. Last year, with running our first holiday season on Etsy and running markets with our business, we realized that it was very hard to keep up with the demand through the holiday season. So being prepared and having stock on hand is super beneficial, and like I highly recommend keeping that flow going. In conclusion, we have a number of items on Etsy, but 90% of our items actually come from one item. Keep creating, keep pushing, and find your niche that you really like, and you never know what's gonna sell if you don't post an item. Peace.